In part one of this three-part story, we looked at some of the damages this cyclone has wreaked upon the people, their livelihoods, in particular from orchards, vineyards, apiaries and other businesses, the land, rivers, lakes, wetlands, coast, vehicles, houses, and infrastructure including roads, bridges and telecommunications. We also in part one explored the question, what was the cause of Cyclone-23 Gabrielle? And present doubt to the likelihood there was a response to global climate warming due to human greenhouse gas emissions, but with no outright denial that we presently appear to be experiencing a general climate warming. This means Cyclone-23 Gabrielle was more likely either entirely a natural event or, if at all human-caused, then geoengineering may have been at play. In addition to damages described in part one, there was also the tragic loss of life, people, pets, horses and other farm animals. So now in part two of this story, we'll compare official government numbers of deaths and unaccounted for persons with what residents have been seeing and saying. Community actions to recover, restore and thrive are also compared with the actions of government and agencies and other organisations. So let's first take a second look on the ground in Hawke's Bay in the wake of Cyclone-23 Gabrielle.
So what we're hearing is that the official government tally for the deaths is totally incorrect. We've heard about temporary morgues being set up, even like having to take them across to Palmerston North. We're still looking to find the confirmation of all that. We heard 29 people at least were taken out of the Esk Valley, dug out from diggers, and another 4 or 8 just the last 2 days.
So quite a huge amount of silt has come and water has come down the Esk Valley, and it's even shifted some of the houses off their foundations.
Correct.
And moved them downstream. So there are also vehicles, cars and what have you. And yeah, this week we've heard about one car and also one ute with up to 4 people in each, potentially, which have been discovered by people, digger contractors.
So we're still trying to get to the end of that. I heard of a helicopter pilot who was delivering things from Tauranga coming across, and he saw hundreds of bodies in the bay, he said, floating, and mostly dark people, so we're presuming they were the workers in the orchards, but I'm still trying to get hold of him.
She broke through the ceiling and put a stool here on top of a table and got her kids up through the roof up there. Fortunately, it wasn't a screw-down iron roof, so she's gone up the top there, sat on the roof, and waited for 7 hours up on top of the roof.
So here is the school that was in the Esk Valley, and these are some of the buildings and also some of the houses associated around the school, and you can see the depth of the sediment. The school was actually evacuated in all good time. I'll just come down off the top of the silt piles, back onto what was road, and it just goes on and on. So this road's been excavated out. It's looking at a good 3-4 metres of dig out. I mean, some of the stuff has been piled high because of the excavation of the road. In the Esk Valley, and this is an upturned, what looks like what was an instant safari, and you can see on the back tyre potentially that could be marked because there was a body, and to go around here, and they actually had to remove the roof of this vehicle, and they've gone to the trouble of cutting it off, cutting the roof off the car.
Yeah, it looks like that this vehicle, from the reports that we've received, this vehicle had been tumbled all the way along here. We've got power line wire all over the place. It looks like it might have gone through a gate and mangled the gate. And ended up in a little creek line that feeds into the culvert.
So you'd like to get some people to come in and have a look?
Look, there's the potential under this 4-5 meters of silt in some places that there's many more vehicles like this. Metal detector, spiritual healers, family members that are lost that can give us an item of clothing or a watch or something that belongs to a missing person. There are spiritual people that can maybe tap into that energy and say, yes, those people are dead, and yes, they're dead somewhere in this area.
Looking down from Bluff Hill onto the port of Napier, and here we have a big cruise ship. Recently, a person reported from a cruise ship, a tourist, that they saw a body in the water as they were being transported, cruising from Gisborne down to Napier. So might check the Coast Guard out about that one. You can see that this is probably, if you were to set up a temporary morgue, then this would be the place to do it in the position that cruise ship is. So it's maybe concealed by a large vessel, and also you could easily conceal it from onlooking unofficial eyes.
Thursday afternoon, Thursday the 16th, so we're a month after the cyclone hit, and I haven't got any evidence at this stage that pier was used as a temporary morgue with maybe 2 or 3 containers, refrigerated containers used for it. So that would make sort of the logical sense, as most of the other sort of places are either occupied by commercial boats or there's too much of a rocky shore for practical unloading of or offloading of body bags. So I don't know, somebody with a zoom might be able to zoom into more detail down on that pier, or in the weeks to come we might be able to dig up some video of the morgues actually being on that pier.
We didn't see any sort of defence turn up. The truckloads provisions came in. It's just incredible how everyone's been so kind and worked it all out themselves. Then the council tried to step in and take over, which they have done, and the locals have been very happy about that. Seen a few army trucks going backwards and forwards, maybe 5 or 6. Police, the police have been good with it. They have been setting up roadblocks and down the street, on the ground the whole time. No one seems to be very happy with the council or even civil defence. I wouldn't even know if they look at it. A few Red Cross people, apparently they raised $11 million. Nobody knows where that's all gone yet. Where's the money gone? The insurance company are going to pay out for those that had insurance.
In the wake of Cyclone-23 Gabrielle, the biggest loss of life occurred on the east coast of the North Island, where 9 deaths and 0 persons unaccounted were officially declared. However, during my time in the field, 1 month after the event, I was presented with stories of bodies in excess of the official count of 9. However, I could never quite get to ground zero, to the person behind the person or the source of such sightings. This suggested to me that first-hand witnesses were cautious, perhaps cautioned, to share their observations. Nonetheless, information was passed on, whereafter the source identity could either not be revealed or it was unknown, and fabrication of stories appeared unlikely given the sincerity, integrity, and sense of respect of the people reporting the stories. In my time in the field, I heard a few declarations of hundreds of bodies, but generally single-digit numbers of sightings or potential occurrences not investigated. These were: Elo rescue member sighted 6 in one area, car with people inside flashing its lights washed down the Esk River, hospital nurse tagging and bagging bodies for freezer container storage because the morgue was full, Dentists seconded from normal services to help identify bodies. Cars, van, shipping container seen by locals stuck on a sediment delta offshore the Esk River mouth. These were confirmed by the Coast Guard, but assumed not yet investigated. Nissan Safari four-wheel drive extracted from ditch and having its roof removed by cutting through 8 supporting staves, silt to below window level, with its surface silt and small rocks being depressed and mould-like. Security officer counts 29 bodies at a temporary morgue on a Napier port pier. 13th of March, digger contractor recovers 2 to 4 bodies in a buried van. 15th of March, digger contractor recovers 4 bodies in a white utility vehicle. 17th of March, a digger contractor recovers 4 bodies in a van in the Puketapu area, perhaps being seasonal workers. And late March, a Napier Council worker discovered a hand on the Aotearoa beachfront, and later a body was found in the Aotearoa sewerage plant. On the 29th of March, at a public meeting, the Regional Council declared some 5.3 kilometres of stop banks had breached on the Tutaikuri River, causing serious flooding of the rural areas of Pakowhai, but that it was too overwhelmed with urgent needs throughout the region, and unfortunately was too preoccupied to advise vulnerable residents of Pakowhai to make timely evacuation. While this 3-part report gives attention to the causes and harm from Cyclone Gabrielle, it is most importantly also about how communities on the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand have been supporting each other and taking self-responsibility to recover from the harm to their lives and livelihoods. At the same time, there were numerous complaints stating where in all this was the government, civil defence, Red Cross, the army, etc., aside from large budgets proposed by government to reshape the regional economy, including red zoning and land acquisition, such as the Esk Valley. Government agencies and NGOs were offering funding, including Red Cross, which had accrued some 15 million as at 17th of March. But was this money simply being handed out to needy residents? But no, it had to be applied for and accounted. As a donor, this is not how I, or probably other donors of money, would want an aid organisation or an agency of government to perform when people are desperate to recover their livelihoods, months after the event. Also, monies donated to a specific cause should be spent on that specific cause and no other, which is what the donors wanted and is why they respectfully donated. These issues aside, the strength of community love and unity to help each other recover, restore and thrive has been enormous. In the Hawke's Bay alone, there were and still are working collectives such as Zeb Jackson Crew and Manox Crew, which are well organised and effective 7 days a week.
Between Napier and Hastings, this is an area where I'm attending a working bee today, organised by the community. This is called Zeb's Group, and so what we're doing is cleaning out mud, fence lines, removing it off-site to somewhere where it can be properly dealt with. So lots and lots of people turn up to these events every day. Probably at least 30, 40 people with lots of shovels and spades and muscle power, and men and women alike, and just trying to clear up and help the owners of this sort of land get back on their feet as soon as possible. But it's still going to take years to sort this huge mess out.
Emergency health hubs were also set up by people like Sandra and Simon Spice at Valley Divine in the Esk Valley. Helping Hands members, a voluntary national needs assessment think tank and outreach originally formed to respond to needs associated with emergency events, was also organising supplies into the region and was active on the ground. And the People's Health Alliance, PHA, being a holistic alternative to allopathic health and wellness option for people, was also active, distributing remedies and therapies to help people and animals recover from trauma and other ailments. A PHA health and wellness hub has been established in the Hawke's Bay, being one of more than 20 to date established throughout New Zealand. Next, in Part 3, we will look at the politics, science and narrative driving the human-caused climate change agenda, and to conclude, the basis for a new way of governance and community empowerment will be proposed. Aid. Field Messenger, Aotearoa, New Zealand.